we're going to solve capitalize, which is a Python coding question on HackerRank, and we get a set of words. So we can think of these as names. They show here Alison Heck. Basically, we have words separated with spaces, and we have to capitalize the words. There are a few things we need to keep in mind. If we have digits at the beginning of the words, we don't need to capitalize them. So if we have something that looks like a name, like Chris Allen, we have to capitalize C and A, and we return that modified string. But if we have something like 12ABC, if we try to capitalize this, it will still be 12ABC. So we have to return the original string. We don't have to turn all the letters in the string to uppercase. We only need to capitalize the first letter. If you look at the code editor on the right of my screen, if you drop down these fixed snippets that they've given you already, they have the shebang at the top, but they also have this RE module. This is the regular expression module in Python. So you can get an early hint that you might need to use it in your solution. Here I have my one-line solution in Python. It's a combination of joining strings together, but I'm also making use of a list comprehension. But in here, you can see that I'm using the regular expression module. Now, I've actually added a couple of comments that I think will be very helpful in understanding what is going on behind the scenes, especially if you're not used to the regular expression module. So we're going to cover that very shortly. But first, have a look at this list comprehension. You're going to have to bear with me because my computer mouse is lagging a little bit. So sometimes when I select something, it selects the full line. But just see here the 4 keywords. I say for C in RE splits, and then I have the expression and the string. Immediately, you know that I want to have some sort of iteration, and I'm going to name what I have access to in that iteration C. Now C here basically means each of the items that I split from my string. Look here in this line of code, we have re.split. So I'm making use of the split function from the regular expression module. The split pattern is what you see as the first argument here. I have a raw string, which is why you see R. And then in between the single quotation marks, I have \s and then plus. And this here is in between parentheses, meaning it's a group, right? So this pattern is a group and it will capture a set of spaces at once. So let's say we have a word like Chris, and then we have 5 spaces, and then we have Smith as the last name or the second word in the string. Right? Remember that S here is the inputs. So when I split S using this pattern where the spaces are grouped together and making use of the split function from the regular expression module, I'm going to get a list of 3 items. Chris as the first item, index 0, the 5 spaces together as the second item at index 1, and then Smith, the last name, as the third item in the list, or index 2. So the reason why I want to make sure that I split and still maintain the group of spaces is because the input is not going to be all valid first name, last names. In some cases, what you will get will be a set of words and then a bunch of spaces, new line characters, tabs, white spaces, and so on, and then other words. And you have to capitalize the first letter of every word. You have to split the words, capitalize them, and then merge them back together whilst maintaining the order and the size of the spaces as well as the types of spaces from the original string. So once we have our split words, which we are referring to as C, I can capitalize the first letter, or the first letter becomes uppercase. That is what we call capitalizing. So I capitalize the words in the string, but I only do that if the words start with a letter of the alphabets. If it's something like 1, 2, ABC, like we saw at the beginning, I don't need to do anything. If the first letter here is not a letter of the alphabet, meaning is alpha is going to be false, then I simply leave C as is. So this capitalization here, I capitalize C only if the first letter is the letter of the alphabet. Otherwise, I maintain C as is, and I do that for all the words inside of my split inputs. And the input is split again with spaces. So you're going to have the words and the spaces as well. Let's see this in action by uncommenting this here. I'm going to grab the inputs and then I'm going to print what happens if I split it using my regular expression. So in here, I have a custom input. It's hello. And then I have a bunch of spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I have words right here. See what happens when I run this code. The print statement prints these debugging outputs. We have hello as the first item. Then we have all the spaces bundled together in one, and then words. So if I want to capitalize it, just like I did here, hello and words are capitalized. When I join them back together, I can join them along with this bundle of spaces so that the result is the words capitalized along with the spaces from the original string. If we have something a little bit more complex, like I have a new line character here, then more spaces and then a tab character, like so, let's say. Now, when I run this code, you see that I have hello, then the space between hello and the new line character itself with an escape notation, then the space between new line and tab, then the tab space here, then the space before the last word, which is word here. So when I capitalize this, I have hello right here, and then I have words, but I still have my white spaces, new line spaces, and tab space in here at the same time. So these are the spaces from the original string. And that's how you can have a robust logic that can take care of very tricky inputs in terms of spaces. So it's all because of the regular expression, which is very powerful. So that's pretty much it. Let's now run this code without my custom inputs. I'm going to leave these comments in there and this one as well. Let's run this code. We've passed the sample test case. There was only one of it. And now when I submit it, we've passed all the test cases. You can see here, test case 1 has multiple spaces. Test case 2 has a number here, and so on. So that's it. If you like this solution, HackerRank in Python, it's called Capitalized. Please subscribe and check out my new videos.